Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Enjoy your home for the holidays with store-wide savings at Room to Room. 50% off, 48-month special financing, and as our gift to you, a free accessory buyer's card. There's something here for everyone, including gift cards. Merry Christmas from Room to Room Tupelo.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Gotta love technology. A beautiful but cold night across North Mississippi. Getting into the 10 o'clock hour. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe, and it has been a fun night filled with parades across North Mississippi, one of which we got to enjoy was over in New Albany. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Appreciate all the feedback that we've gotten. Hoping to get to, I believe, Nettleton tomorrow night, so we'll have the latest on that forecast coming up here at the 10 o'clock hour. But that's one of the many headlines as we get into our broadcast. The first one being the cold. Gets even colder. If you thought today was bad, well, yeah, it's getting even worse heading into tomorrow morning. We'll track those temperatures here in just a moment. We're also going to be looking at rain chances returning later on this week, the impacts that we'll see with that, and the timing, not exactly ideal in some spots. We'll break that down as well. And the latest on those parades. I know a lot of us this week looking to bring in that holiday season. One of the best ways to do so is with those Christmas parades. Got to do so this evening, like I mentioned, but we have more coming this week, and the forecast needs to abide. Someday it will not, and we'll track what day that is coming up here shortly. The first 12, yeah, you see the 20s showing up in full force for our overnight hours. 28 degrees by 11, 24 by 5 a.m. Whew, that's a temperature you can almost laugh at whenever you see 24 degrees. My word. But cloud cover also kind of helping us in that fashion, because if that cloud cover was not there, these temperatures could very well be in the teens. So yeah, that blanket of cloud cover limiting how much we do cool off. So hey, thanks, clouds. Everyone give it a pat on the back. But into the rest of our morning, 41 degrees by 11, not warming up too much, so layers going to be essential and very necessary for any of those plans we have on our Wednesday, whether it's heading to school, heading to work, or just enjoying the day all the way around. Aberdeen, 34 degrees, dew point at 28 degrees right now, so those are slowly but surely starting to cool off there in Monroe County. Cloud cover, again, limiting how much some areas do cool off just because of that moisture blanketing the sky. But not just in Aberdeen. They got to enjoy a great parade out there. Pontotoc enjoyed their great parade as well. 32 degrees, dew point at 27, so a very dry forecast. So these parades were honestly perfect whenever it comes to that forecast. It just had to deal with some cold temperatures in the process. Now, as we get into our last one, of course, I believe this is down. So yeah, because it's definitely not daytime right now. But that reading station is not down at all. 30 degrees right now in Oxford, so it is a cold forecast all across North Mississippi. And Oxford, one of the other locations that had a parade this evening. Haven't seen pictures yet, but I'm curious if Pete Golding was able to make the parade and be in it. But I know that some folks were talking about it and what's happening in Oxford, so I was curious what exactly would happen out there. All right, Mississippi Live Weather Radar not tracking anything. There were a few small flakes that moved throughout the day, but that was one or two, not exactly a multitude of them. So it was a really cool sight to see. But yeah, we've just been dry, a very dry pattern over the top of North Mississippi. And rainfall totals, aside from what we had late overnight into this morning, this little batch out here towards Highway 45, I mean, we're talking honestly just trace amounts of rainfall, of maybe a tenth, all things considered, but yeah, not measurable too much. But over the past 12 hours, not exactly been the case. Those rain chances cleared out before a lot of us even woke up. So it was a good forecast all day long if you could handle these cold temperatures. But cold temperatures just been a long time coming. It's been a very abnormally warm forecast. So glad it finally feels like December. Golly, it's December. Still trying to wrap my mind around that. All right, big driver in the forecast moving into the next several days. High pressure right over the top of us. That's going to be keeping things calm and dry over the next 24 hours. So that's going to be our forecast heading into our Wednesday. But we also do have this frontal boundary pushing through on through the Midwest right now, and that's going to be the driver in our forecast moving into our Thursday and Friday. That bringing some chances of rainfall as well. But this high pressure also supplying that moisture back into the forecast as this starts to shift a little bit out there towards the east. We'll start to wrap around some of this moisture here to North Mississippi, and that's going to be driving our weather pattern moving into Thursday and Friday. Is just a result of that moisture returning to the area and moving in right on time for that cold front to push right into North Mississippi. So 10 o'clock tonight, dry conditions once again. We're enjoying that cloudy forecast, unlike folks out in Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Now they're getting those clear conditions overnight, so they're going to cool off even more than we are. But yeah, it's still going to be a cold one over the top of North Mississippi. By 6 a.m. on your Wednesday, you can see high pressure remaining right over the top of us. So luckily, wind chill not going to be a huge factor. Might drop it a degree or two, but it's not going to be like what it usually does where it drops at 5, 6, or 7 degrees. So into the rest of our Wednesday, that high pressure moving out towards the east, and this is what we're talking about with that moisture return, getting southerly wind back into the forecast by mid-morning and really building there by the noontime hour. So with all that moisture in the area, and then we have this lifting mechanism pushing in by Thursday, that's going to make way for a rainy forecast as we get into the latter portion of our work week. So have that rain gear ready on top of those layers because it's going to be a busy end to our work week. The next 24, a cold start to the day with 23 degrees. Could be a little bit higher in a few locations because of that cloud cover, again, blanketing our skies and trapping that heat that we do have over the top of us. But as the day goes on, 34 by 9, 45 by noon, 50 by 3, and then cooling off once again to some cold temperatures for those Christmas parades happening on your Wednesday. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up in the next 60 for those parades. We're also going to hear from our Will Kohlmeyer about the latest matchups happening in those state title games. He'll be breaking that down in Davis-Wade, telling us what we need to know getting into this week. We'll also track those football forecasts for those first matchups with Calhoun City and West Point. You heading down to Davis-Wade? We'll have that latest for you coming up here on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. We thank you for joining us, and we will see you back here in the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays. Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
Keeping our merry and bright Christmas light trend going as you take a look at some sites all across North Mississippi. This is Dion in New Albany submitting this picture. Love the candles lining the sidewalk, the tree right outside. Yeah, it's got to be seen. It's a great shot. Reindeer off there in the distance. This is just a busy, in the good way, type of yard with several of those decorations. Trust me, this is what my yard would look like for sure if we could get a little bit more of those decorations at the Maynard household. But it's been a fun one for sure. Excited to get those lights up and going. And Dion, a big thank you to you for submitting this picture. Just again, adding to those merry and bright Christmas lights. Not just in New Albany, but also keeping that Union County trend there in Myrtle. Look at the house. I love the outline of the house with the lights. Again, high admiration for people that do this because the Maynard household just did it the other day, and it took about 4 tries and 2 strands of lights because one of them was down completely. Check your lights before you hang them. Everybody, word of advice. Even some of those yard decorations as well, a beautiful sight, just adding to the lights, illuminating the yard, bringing in that Christmas joy. And I know a lot of folks driving by in Myrtle love to see Ava's picture out there. So Ava, thank you for submitting this picture, and excited to see some of those sights over there in Union County. Got to see them earlier with the New Albany Christmas Parade. So Union County, hotspot here recently, and excited to feature them here on Mississippi Live Weather. I know a lot of folks in the chat excited to see these lights as well. Go ahead and submit your pictures if you have not done so to be a part of our Merry and Bright Christmas Light promo. All right, Mabin, getting a look out there, looking east towards Highway 82 in Eupora. 34 degrees right now, a cold one in Eupora for those Christmas parades, so that's what it will be heading overnight as well. Just another cold forecast. Columbus, that's where we will be tomorrow evening, we'll be in Nettleton. This is where another Christmas parade will be down in Columbus, 34 degrees. I believe that's 7:30 for Columbus. So if you're looking to head to any other Christmas parades, well, there's another option there in Lowndes County. A good looking forecast, 34 degrees with clear conditions. That's how it'll be overnight as well. Not tracking a drop of rainfall on our Mississippi Live Weather radar. Keeping that forecast going, satellite imagery does have some dense cloud cover right over the top of North Mississippi and continues to sit right over the top of North Mississippi as it has done so all day long. Look at that 6-hour loop. Is there any movement at all? No, we're in a very consistent pattern, a stationary pattern almost that we'll get to enjoy even heading into those overnight hours. So expect those cloudy conditions to continue into our Wednesday. The potential for some fog as well. It's going to be a cold one for sure. It's also going to be a gloomy one as well. Luckily, whenever it comes to what we're experiencing here on the ground, very dry air over the top of North Mississippi. That's why we're not tracking any rainfall. Still going to be a dry pattern as we get into the start of our Wednesday, but a cold pattern at that. Getting a look at that day planner, as you can see, midnight 28 degrees, 26 by 3, and yes, that temperature is real. You're not reading it in reverse. 23 degrees heading out the door for your Wednesday morning. So layers, almost an understatement. We need like 3 or 4 layers, bundling up the gloves, the hat, everything in between to stay on the warmer side, because 23 degrees is definitely a big shock whenever you head out the door. I do want to say, I saw some folks mention it. Yes, I shaved this morning, so no longer have the beard, and I'm kind of sad about it because the timing of it, with it being low 20s tomorrow, that beard, that was an extra layer of protection for sure. So I should have waited one more day. But no, Shave November has passed, so I guess it had to come down at some point. But yeah, definitely feeling the cold right here. But let's go ahead and take that futurecast into those overnight hours. Wednesday around midnight, staying with those clear conditions. And as we get into the start of our Wednesday, you can see high pressure lingers right over the top of North Mississippi. So if you're expecting any rainfall in that forecast, not going to see a drop here during those overnight hours, and whether it comes to winter precip or regular rainfall. So low temperatures heading out the door, yeah, they're going to be cold. 21 degrees Bruce, 23 Holly Springs, 23 in Booneville, 24 Starkville, and 27 around Belzona. So find ways to stay warm. Crank that car a little bit early. You'll be glad you did to battle those cold temperatures. And yeah, it's just going to be a cold one for sure. We were mentioning wind chill, not going to impact it too much, only dropping it maybe a degree at most, but it's going to be a pretty consistently cold, consistently frigid, consistently bone chilling, however I need to word it. You get the message. It's going to be a time where we need to stay warm. School day forecast drop off. It's going to be a time where we need to layer up those kids as well. Maybe send them to the bus stop at the last possible second from being inside, because 23 degrees, it's a dangerous temperature as well. Don't want to be exposed to that for too long. 41 degrees by lunch is still a cool forecast. And same thing towards that final bell. Not really warming up through the day. Yes, I know 26 degree temperature change, but 49 degrees is not what I would constitute as warm. So we need to have those long sleeves ready as we go throughout the day. Maybe have a few extra long sleeves for that morning part or morning half of the day. Our futurecast throughout our Wednesday stays on the drier side once again. High pressure dominating that forecast and giving us those dry, not clear, but dry conditions. Now watch as we head into our Wednesday morning, this front inching closer and closer to North Mississippi. This front going to be our big weather maker moving into the latter part of our work week. High pressure shifting out of the area, cold front moving in, and that moisture sustaining itself over the top of North Mississippi. So setting up, priming itself for rainfall. Notice I didn't say storms. Notice I didn't say strong storms. Just rainfall. So scattered rainfall expected as we get into our Thursday forecast. We'll get to that in just a moment, but I want you to see and visualize what is moving in that is going to drive our forecast moving forward. North Mississippi staying on the drier side even into our Wednesday, but cloudy conditions going to remain over the top of us. So if you're sick of these gloomy conditions, I am too. It shifts your mood whenever you have that sunshine in the forecast. May see a few breaks in that by our Wednesday afternoon, but luckily no drops of rainfall, and that's where I'm trying to look at the positive with this forecast. Bringing it back in here to North Mississippi, you can see high temperatures along the Tennessee state line, upper 40s, out towards Arkansas, upper 40s as well. The rest of us, low 50s across the region. So cold, yes, bearable. Yes, especially with not as much wind chill in the forecast. So we are well below that normal, but luckily it's going to be at least a pretty calm forecast. All right. As you take a look at that parade planner, 45 degrees by 5, 37 by 7, 35 by 9. This is for Wednesday. So that's for folks in Columbus and Nettleton. As you head out to those parades, make sure to layer up once again. Saw a lot of hot cocoa stands. They're probably going to be in full display for our Wednesday as well. So find those stands. If you don't know of one, set one up yourself. If it's allowed, of course, but definitely going to be worthwhile and going to get a lot of business as folks try to stay on the warmer side throughout this forecast. All right, let's keep Futurecast going throughout our Wednesday, and I'm going to expand things out once again. So you're getting a little bit of that isolated development right along the Mississippi River towards 9 p.m. on your Wednesday. That's going to be as that front starts to lead into our area. A lot of this going to be elevated, not exactly reaching the surface, but for some heavier portions up there around DeSoto County, realistic possibility we get at least a few drops overnight. But as we push more into that forecast by Thursday morning, you can see those heavier greens moving into the area. That's where we're verifying a little bit more of that rainfall. So Grenada, Greenwood, and Cleveland going to be around 3 a.m. So don't be surprised if you wake up and that ground feels a little bit more saturated than what you went to sleep with. By 6 a.m. on your Thursday, you can see that those showers work their way through the region, following right along Highway 82 with those heaviest portions. And that's where things will sit with the most significant rainfall still down here towards the south. Now, this is all being driven by this low pressure center out there towards Texas. Once that moves into the Gulf, it brings a lot of this moisture towards North Mississippi. That's what's going to drive our weather pattern moving into our Thursday and especially for our Friday. So looking at your Thursday forecast, you can see that a lot of this moisture out here towards Texas not exactly impacting us just yet, but bringing it back in here to our home view, North Mississippi, scattered, more isolated in fashion by mid-morning, and that's how it'll be heading into those lunchtime hours as well. So you might be going into the day saying, Gabe, where's the rainfall? Believe me, it'll be coming on the latter half of the day. Let's go ahead and walk through that forecast. 3 p.m., you're starting to get those showers light to moderate in fashion out there towards Greenville and Yazoo City. As we move further into that late afternoon, early evening time frame, there you go. Widespread chances of rainfall back into the forecast as we wrap up our Thursday. So Thursday evening Christmas parades, look at the time, 6 p.m. You want to be standing in some rainfall. It's time to assess the situation and see what we need to do as we get into that Thursday evening time frame. But luckily, there are drier days ahead, and those dry days going to be moving in as soon as Friday. We'll be in Tupelo on Friday for the Christmas parade here, so we're tracking good forecast for that, and hopefully that forecast doesn't shift. We don't expect it to. Thursday seems to be the day that will be impacted when it comes to this rainfall. High temperatures, with rainfall back in the forecast, starting off a little bit more warm than where things will sit tomorrow morning, but high temperatures for Thursday not climbing much at all. Low 50s, that's going to be the high end of the spectrum, with upper 40s and mid 40s a realistic possibility. South Haven 41, Tunica 42, some outliers there when it comes to our colder temperatures. So yeah, layers. Have ways to stay warm. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Our high school game of the week, we have 6 of them heading into this week, and our first one starts Thursday as Calhoun City travels down to Davis Wade to hopefully bring home that 1A state crown. That, of course, going to be about 47 degrees towards kickoff and pretty cool throughout the game with some scattered chances of rainfall. So if you're looking to head down there, have an umbrella ready. Game 2 is West Point, Titletown, hoping to add another to that list and keep that streak going, but it's going to be a battle for sure. 43 degrees, battling the weather as well with some rain chances in that forecast, and we do expect these to be in the forecast during those game times, especially the later game times on our Thursday. So yeah, Titletown may be dealing with some rainfall as well. So another factor you got to overcome, but if anyone's able to do it, it's down there in West Point with the green wave. Seeing them behind me, I put together a little highlight reel of everybody. So if you ever see these graphics, you can see East Webster. You can see that we have West Point, Tupelo, and Calhoun City. Got to go to 4 games that included some state title contenders. So put together a little reel for them. So love getting to see that in the background and kind of reminisce on the season. So yeah, if you see that, if you see any of your teams up there, let us know. It's been a good time. But I do want to say, we do have a preview down there from Davis Wade with our Will Kohlmeyer. Will, go ahead and take it away on what we can expect heading into this week.
Welcome to Starkville, and we are just outside Davis Wade Stadium here on the Mississippi State campus, where that was the place to be last Friday, right, for the latest renewal of the rivalry, which Ole Miss took over Mississippi State. But this is going to be the place to be this week as well. Starting on Thursday, it's the State High School Football Championships. Calhoun City plays for a state title, starting things off for 1A action at 4 o'clock on Thursday, followed by West Point after winning its 10th straight North Half Championship. They'll play at 7:30 on Thursday night, trying to get yet another state title back to Clay County. 2 more on Friday, and then the final 3 state championships will be played on Saturday. I'll have previews later this week. But that's the story now here from Starkville, right outside Davis Wade Stadium here on the MSU campus.
Well, thank you, Will, and excited to see those previews heading into the next few days. Going to get those going, but yeah, some of those folks down there in Starkville going to have to deal with some rainfall as they hopefully bring home those state crowns. Going to be updating you guys on those scores at 10 o'clock every night, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so stay tuned for those champions and what titles we bring home to North Mississippi. All right, looking at that 7-day forecast, definitely not a title-winning forecast for sure. Wednesday, you can see cold temperatures, gloomy skies. Those gloomy skies transition to rainy skies Thursday and Friday, and those rainy skies could continue into Saturday and Sunday with isolated chances in that forecast. Temperatures continue to remain below average for both high and low temperatures all 7 days, so layers, I'm going to say it one more time, are needed as you go about this week to stay on the warmer side and battle this cold, cold weather. As we get into the latter part of this week, rain gear will be needed as well. Cold rainfall, not something you want to mess with, so hopefully you guys stay dry and stay warm. And of course, stay informed. As we get into the end of our broadcast, I hope you guys have had that app downloaded. If you haven't already, QR code on the bottom of your screen. Is Attala County considered Central Mississippi? Yeah, I would say so. Attala County is still in the North Mississippi area that we cover, but it's close enough to where you could consider it Central Mississippi, but it's all based on what you think. So yeah, go ahead and download that app, and a big thank you to everyone who has done so already. Could have tuned into the New Albany Christmas Parade earlier on today. It was a good one for sure, and Union County definitely blessed to have a lot of good people, and I know I'm heavily biased because my family is from Union County. So I love everyone up there, and hopefully you guys stayed warm tonight with some great parades, a great parade happening there and great parades happening all across North Mississippi. Our next broadcast happening at 6:37 and 7:30. We already know the weather story. It's going to be frigid, but meteorologist Maggie McCauley will have the latest on that forecast, who's experiencing what, and latest on those rain chances as well. Definitely a forecast you want to stay tuned for. She'll be walking you through that Wicked Wednesday forecast when it comes to those temperatures, and we'll have the latest at 5, 6, and 10 live from Nettleton, tracking the latest on cold temperatures there for their Christmas parade, but also tracking the latest on those rain chances coming up to end our work week. You guys have a great night and have a wonderful Wednesday. We will see you bright and early.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.